From the street, Casa Nova looks like any other global corporate entity, polished, modern, and unassailable. But this empire is built directly over an ancient Florentine estate that has spent 4 centuries perfecting the art of secrecy. For the current heir, Lucia Isabel, that history is a source of strength. She was raised on a specific story, that her mother heroically used a hidden family archive to outwit political enemies, securing Lucia's life while the world burned around them. To Lucia, this legacy is a completed asset, a heroic foundation that has already served its purpose. In her mind, the only remaining threat to Casa Nova is the present-day reality of a hostile corporate takeover. When a ruthless acquisition attempt begins, Lucia treats the past as a vault to be defended. She orders a total lockdown of the historical archives, sealing the records to keep them out of reach of the new hunters. But the lockdown triggers a response from a system that shouldn't exist. In the dark basement, the mechanical clicking of a long decommissioned printer begins. A sheet of paper slides into the tray, printed from a dead archivist's account. It reads, "If Lucia survives, the other child must disappear." This single sentence contradicts everything Lucia was told about her own rescue. Her mother's secret archive wasn't just a shield for an innocent daughter. It was a tool used to engineer the total removal of someone else. Lucia realizes that the board minutes and official ledgers are silent on this second child. In a house built on erasure, the formal records only show you what the people in charge wanted you to see. To find what's missing, she has to adopt a new methodology, hermeneutic interpretation. It's the discipline of understanding a whole history by decoding the small, marginalized fragments that were never meant to be read as evidence. This means shifting her focus away from the formal ledgers on the left and looking toward the domestic records on the right. She begins looking for the women's work that the men of Casa Nova dismissed as insignificant. In these notebooks, ordinary phrases function as the actual infrastructure of a rescue. A mention of 3 white dresses on the line was an order to move. A note about milk at the blue gate marked the exact coordinates for a handoff. When you prioritize these marginalized details, the household chores reveal themselves as the true center of gravity for the estate. Real power wasn't sitting in the boardroom, it was moving through the laundry lines and the delivery gates. Lucia carries this method into the old intake room, where she finds a nursery inventory that seems purely administrative. This diagram shows the logic Lucia encounters. 2 cups, 1 coat, and 1 cradle removed. The count doesn't balance. You have 2 cups for 2 children, but only 1 coat left behind and 1 cradle taken away. In the gap between these items, a second presence has been subtracted, leaving a person-shaped hole in the archive. That child now exists entirely in the negative space of the house's math. It proves that for someone to be successfully forgotten by history, someone else has to perform the meticulous calculation required to remove them. This dynamic is even clearer at the Oracle Cafe. While powerful men made decisions in the light, the invisible laborers in the shadows were the ones actually recording the cost of those choices. These workers used the tools of their labor to preserve the truth. A laundress's thread mark could distinguish wine from blood. A violinist's crescendo was timed perfectly to mask the sound of a secret conversation that changed everything. The ultimate trace is a black ribbon folded inside a cafe ticket, a silent, physical marker of grief for someone the official record refused to name. The survival of the Casa Nova line didn't happen through clean, abstract heroism. It was bought by sacrificing the vulnerable and forcing the servants to carry the trauma of what they witnessed. Faced with the reality of a sacrificed child, Lucia can no longer see herself as a corporate owner defending a private legacy. Her identity shifts as she realizes she is now answerable to the people that her family's survival displaced. She moves toward a practice of hermeneutic mourning. This is the ethical decision to honor the grief hidden in the archive, without trying to own it or use it for her own gain. She realizes that simply exposing these names to a hostile corporate buyer or the public would be its own kind of violence. It would turn someone else's suppressed pain into a new kind of asset for the company. Instead, she chooses restraint. She leaves certain names blank to protect their descendants and uses art and essays to share the truth of the system, rather than exploiting the raw details of the victims. History is not a neutral collection of facts. It's a living record of human intention. To truly understand it, we have to listen to the silences and accept that we are responsible for the people the past tried its hardest to erase.